Galnet News, your galaxy in focus, 9th of January 3301. In today's news, federal warships have arrived in the Luluwala system, a minor conflict breaks out in Delta Phoenicis, preparations for the Emperor's wedding gain pace, the federal president is booed by students, and Aisling Juval talks narcotics, as well as a special report from Federal Naval Attaché Commander JO2 on the Onionhead crisis in Delta Phoenicis. Some news from Luluwala now, where Senator Torval has criticised the arrival of a federal warship now stationed in the Luluwala system. She said, "They think they can throw their weight around. Stationing a warship at this small outpost can only be a distraction from their lack of enforcement of their own laws. They think stationing a cruiser in Luluwala is a show of strength. A show of real strength would be to move against slavery and the Federation. Really, they are being weak." There has been no comment from the federal government as of yet. We have reports this evening that a conflict is emerging in the Empire-controlled Delta Phoenicis system between two independent factions. The Delta Phoenicis pirate faction and the Union of Delta Phoenicis have declared a state of civil war, although very little influence is held by either faction in the system, and all three stations are under the control of other factions, so pilots passing through the system should not necessarily expect much disruption. More on the imperial wedding of Florence Lavini to Henjus Juval now. Arissa Lavini, Florence's daughter, has shown the plans for her parents' wedding on the 22nd of this month, including a sneak peek at the bridesmaids' dresses. It will be a grand affair with visiting dignitaries from systems around and beyond the Empire. Rumour has it that the federal president and shadow president will both be invited, although many expect them to politely decline. The ceremony is to take place in the Imperial Palace, and the Emperor and his new wife will remain in specially prepared ornate travel chairs throughout, as the Emperor is not expected to be fully recovered by the time of the wedding. Markets rose dramatically after the news, as it would seem that the Emperor's illness is not as bad as many commentators have made out. In the Federation today, the federal president has been booed. This morning, during the ceremony to mark the start of term at the prestigious Olympus Village University, when President Halsey began her talk, a large number of the assembled students began booing her. The university principal apologized profusely to the president before she left. Nevertheless, the damage was done, and the event was carried on news feeds throughout much of human space. Her embarrassed and indecisive reaction as she attempted to proceed with her speech is now the butt of much satirical humour. President Halsey has come in for much criticism from her recent decision and policy making, including the news, devastating for many, that federal taxes were to rise. She has also been openly criticised by Shadow President Hudson in recent days, who has called for an early election to rid her of her current authority. Aisling Juval yesterday made some comments about narcotics. In the popular show A Fireside Chat with Serena, the celebrity royal surprisingly talked through tears about narcotics. She said, "Yes, Serena, that's my early childhood. I hate narcotics and think they should be made illegal. My mother died from them before I was old enough to remember her." When asked about her father, Aisling replied, "Oh, Serena, he was led astray in his youth, but Dad is a lovely man and would make a great emperor if his controlling father wasn't so spiteful." Commentators have expressed outrage at her comments about our beloved emperor, and the network cut the broadcast at that point. Juval and Imperial Senator Torval have been in the news recently, as both have been critical of each other's political stance on slavery, with Torval being overheard describing Juval as a vacuous bimbo, and Juval describing Torval as a horrible, twisted old lady. Aisling Juval's stance on slavery, and now narcotics, appears to be a long way from the norms found in the Empire, and her comments are unlikely to go unnoticed in Empire space. And now a special report from Federal Naval Attaché Commander JO2.
This is Commander JO2, Federal Navy Midshipman, on site at Pan Am, currently acting as an attaché for the Federal Navy's Office of Public Information. My role here is purely that of an observer at this point. I'm on a fact-finding mission regarding the ongoing drug war against the horrible narcotic drug Onionhead that is spreading itself across the galaxy. Let's take a moment to discuss why stopping Onionhead is so important in the terms of human lives. Let's say that the average worker's daily productivity can be measured as being 100% of peak efficiency. Now, when we compare that 100% efficiency to a worker who has been using Onionhead, the efficiency drops to 98%. Now, if the average citizen is productive for 8 hours a day, use of Onionhead reduces these productive hours to just 7.84. Logically, if we multiply those lost 0.16 hours across a system population of 5 billion inhabitants, that equals 800 million hours of lost productivity. This is the equivalent of 2.2 million man-years, not accounting for longevity therapies or other methods used to prolong the human life expectancy. That's the equivalent of 21,917 human lifetimes per day. Now, wouldn't you stop the spread of Onionhead if you knew you could save nearly 22,000 lives every day? I know that's one of the reasons why I joined the Federation Navy.
And that's the Galnet news for today. Tune in next time to keep your galaxy in focus.